Welcome, beloved Sangha, to our Jewel Ornament of Liberation series with our Venerable Khenpo Tenzin. We'll begin today's episode in the Yellow Garchen Buddhist Institute prayer book on page 4 and 5 with opening prayers. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Kajulama namje dajo je danandana tsara damje da lama lapa loye jiso zon lozon yonde jamzang alaw Dindri donjen je begele zor dage lo jizon ro war sinje labdo zor je lamdan ro war sinje labdo zor lan truwa se war sinje labdo Truva yishi sun jabra sinje labdo zoe gange dunjen revaran jo ngaba me ba je ba me ba ta me ba wa me ba ro me ba ta de dume dunjen mi Truva ni je den ba zoba sanje mananje tamba de la shan zar do zhenje zava lama je kuzon do je jinlan da ge julan bed Naga Dhamma Dansum Je Jedon Labu Jendra Brazin Je Labdo Zor. Dear Dharma brothers and sisters, many Drashidele. We are practicing Dharma, so I think we have to think in two ways. One is for this life and another is for the next life. For in this life, we should be good people and we should help others become good people. If we have 100,000 good people, it is not too much. If there are good people in a family, in an organization, in a country, and in the world, that is our merit. Good people means kind people who help each other. Good people who have sincere motivation and who think globally. All human beings remain interdependent, so we can destroy each other or we can help each other. All human beings remain interdependent, so it is not impossible to help each other if we help instead of destroying each other. If one would like to become Buddha, Bodhisattva, or a god, first it is necessary that we become good people, and then we can become these. Also, different people have different abilities. So one has to have the motivation that I'm going to utilize my ability to benefit myself and others. I will not utilize it for harming others. If one has this kind of motivation, I think on a large cycle, one can change the world for the better. In a small way, we can change one's family for the better, one's friends for the better. However, whether we act in a mundane way or we act for future enlightenment, in both cases, we try for it to become the cause of benefit for others. If we do both ways of acting can benefit others. That's why Bodhisattvas learn different types of knowledge. They experience different situations for benefiting others. So great Bodhisattva Shantideva says, there is indeed no field of knowledge that the Buddha's offspring should not learn. For those who are well versed in all these ways, there is no action destitute of merit. Directly, then, or indirectly, do nothing that is not for others' sake, and solely for their welfare dedicate your every action to the gaining of enlightenment. To benefit others is our main goal, but we cannot suddenly practice others before self. So we should think ourselves benefits too. But we should know ourselves benefits come from others' benefit. Otherwise, as Buddha's single intention says, there are cases in which the exchange of self and other becomes a fault. Because sometimes we regret afterwards our exchange of self and others. And then this regret will cause us not to gain merit. Generally in the dharma it says this is a degenerate time. So degenerate means impure remainder. There is the impurity of conflicting emotions, impurity of life, impurity of view, impurity of sentient beings, and the impurity of time. Many people use degenerate times as an excuse to not control themselves. They say, I am a degenerate being, so of course I have afflictive emotions. And then they act on them. But as Buddha's single intention says, the increase and decrease of the lifespan, it is possible even now. So time is in our hands, which means if we can develop a lot of good things, then many good things will occur. In brief, we say we are going to make people Buddha, and only good people can be Buddha. So first we have to make very good people. To make good people does not mean change their clothes and put instruments in their hands, or make them have a Buddha's view as well as Mahamudra or Dzogpa. But we should make them very compassionate and kind people. The Dharma practice for next life or enlightenment is we should follow the path of karma, cause and effect. As Buddha's single intention says, the result of what one presently accomplishes will be enjoyed in the present. To make it simple, we can say that karma, cause and effect means the actions of body, speech and mind. No one is outside of the fence of karma, cause and effect. Through body, if you are resting, how to rest that gives you a result is important. So there will be karma, cause and effect. With speech, for example, now I'm teaching dharma, each and every word is karma, cause and effect. If I keep silence, still there will be karma, cause and effect of speech. Whether I am sleeping or meditating, all motivations are karma, cause and effect. So whether we accept the words of karma, cause and effect or not, in reality, we are in the form of karma, cause and effect. So our human nature is that we are willing to have a happy mind, healthy body, wealthy life. And then and the main source of these three things is karma, cause and effect. We all try to show ourselves as honest people, and honest is a good quality. But true honest does not mean saying something directly. It means it means making karma, cause and effect your witness. I don't mean that those who trust in karma will never make any mistakes, but they try to correct or purify their mistakes and prevent them from occurring again. If I was not a Buddhist, but I still accepted karma, cause and effect, I think it would have a great benefit for my life and that of others both. So this is actually my suggestion. I am not telling only to you, I am telling this to myself too. And if you think it is a pretty logic or it's true, then please try to come in this way. if you think, oh, this is not important, and then you do not keep it in your mind, because this is my own suggestion. But I wish I'm staying here, then I don't think my responsibility is only teach only teach the dharma. I wish I can make some people become good people, because making good people means that everybody suddenly cannot become enlightened. So if I can make good people, it benefit the country, it benefit organization, it benefit themselves mainly. It benefit themselves. So for that reason, sometimes I say something, but perhaps you already know about that more than me. Or sometimes my view of point are not important, then you can reject that. You don't want to keep it like valuable things, and then but you don't reject it suddenly. You little bit reflect on it. It really, but sometimes I say some few things. It may not greatly benefit for you, but from these suggestions, you will find some new things. Actually, I am not a great dharma wisdom person, but for instance, gurus give some teachings, and it helps me to understand more dharma knowledge. For example, dharma masters teach something, say something, and I focus on that, and that at the same time get some new information on the even they explain only single word, and I reflect on it, and after get kind of extra. Hopefully, this is not my pride. Actually, there is no reason to keep pride for that. But I mean, if it is little, I try to clarify how, if you reflect, how benefit through your own reflections, or yeah. So, however, we say we should become bodhisattvas or we should become enlightenment. Actually all of this, the result is our own our happiness, our self's happiness. So if we are going to be happy people, I think really being good people is very important. And I don't mean only you, okay? So I know I point only one finger to you, but these three fingers already pointed on me. That's where, from my side, absolutely I have to develop, improve. So because I know that makes more a happy life, it makes more benefit. So kind of these way of thinking are, we can't say dharma teaching or dharma activities, but in the reality, these are also dharma practice. Yeah. And then let me continuously teach on the last. Okay. If you have this your ornament text, page number 43, we will finish the Dharma Master section, and then we will reach new section today. So it says, the third way to rely on masters is by dharma practice and earnestness. There are 3 steps to dharma practice in this respect. First, to study dharma under the master's guidance, then to contemplate its significance, and finally, to make it a reality in practice. Does this earnestly, that is what will be most satisfying for the teacher. Thus, the ornament of Mahayana Sutara says, the frame, one who practices just as instructed will surely please the mind. When someone's Dharma master is satisfied, that person will attain Buddhahood. It says in the instructions for liberation of Shiryasambhava, by satisfying the master, the enlightenment of all the Buddhas will be attained. As far as requesting Dharma teachings from one's Dharma masters is concerned, there are 3 phases. 3 phases. The preparation, the actual instruction, and the conclusion. The preparation is to have the Bodhisattva motivation when requesting the teachings. During the actual instruction, consider yourself to be like a patient, the Dharma to be like medicine, the teacher to be like the physician, and the earnest practice of Dharma to be the best and quickest way to recovery. The conclusion is to avoid the 3 mistakes of being like in upturned container, a leaky container, or contaminated container. I'm so happy that all Dharma friends, your listeners, not engage with these 3 mistakes, because you have very good habit to listen. You already have a great listening power, so that is also your merit. Nobody can build it, but your merit, your own merit builds it. So you have a great. But in this case, one thing is the first one, upturned container. This is the second, a leaky container. This is probably a little bit related us, because we listen, we understand clearly, but then we do not put into the action. We don't put into the. We do, but not often. So meditation, we often say meditation. Meditation, it means repeat. So that's where I often say that we all meditators, but we are meditator of self-grasping, not self-listeners. So that's where we became samsaric meditator. And Buddha also great meditator. Buddha is a great meditator. Maybe Buddha was a great meditator, but he meditated on self-listeners. So he was become being of nirvana. So what is the difference between Buddha and us? We all meditators is same, no different. But Buddha has no suffering, and his mind and mentalities, mental events, make him enjoy, happy, pleasant, because he journeyed through this path. And our mind mentalities create suffering. So that's why our how to say that's where we meditate on the wrong subject. We meditated on the wrong subject. So since from today we listen dharma, so dharma is not outside of our mind. Buddha is not outside of our mind. And then we are Sangha, yeah? Because we all have refuge vow. We all took refuge vow and we keep it. So we are Sangha. And then Buddha and Dharma are in our mind. So we do not need suffering. We need happiness. So we are going to change the subject of meditation, and we little bit changed our actions, way of speak, and our acting. If we fix a little bit, then we also can become Buddha, and we can liberate. So. And then the fifth point is about the benefits of relying on Dharma masters. In the instructions for the liberation of Shri Sambhava, we read, "Child of noble descent, a bodhisattva who is most properly nurtured by a good Dharma master will not fall into the lower states. A bodhisattva who is totally protected by a Dharma master will not be swayed by corrupting friends. A bodhisattva who is perfectly trained by a Dharma master will not abandon the bodhisattva way. A bodhisattva who is most excellently sustained will completely transcend the activities of ordinary people." Okay. The perfection of wisdom in 8,000 lands also says, "A realized bodhisattva who is most properly nurtured will sweetly attain pearlies, totally pure and perfect enlightenment." Okay, so it's like if you are candlelight, and then Dharma master is person who bring the match, and then turn on that and make fire on their flame on. Or if you are the electricity or light, and then Dharma master who turn on the light. So Dharma master only can do that, turn on the light. If you are light, then Dharma master can turn on. So this light, electricity is a very powerful, but if this people does not work, they themselves doesn't work. Yeah, if we join in this temple, for example, if we do not turn on the light, it naturally not turn by itself. It's the same way. Without Dharma Master, our power module wisdom doesn't appear from our mind. Why? There's no because. This is it is nature. I already gave you examples. So, Dharma Master are very important when we before John on the accumulating merit, path of accumulation. When we join on the path of accumulation, it has three classifications: lower, middle, and higher. Then we need Dharma Masters. And then after we accomplished accumulation of merit, and then we should join on the path of joining. And it has four classifications. Then Dharma Masters introduce, explain how to practice, and so forth. That's where we need it. And then we reached on the path of John. Then we should be reached on the path of seeing. Also, we need a Dharma Master. And then that next path is the path of meditation. Still, we need Dharma Master. And then the path of meditation also has classifications. Each and every steps we need Dharma Masters. And then we will join no more learning path. Then we don't need Dharma Master because we became Buddha. So when we became Buddha, then we do not need Dharma Master because ourselves are Dharma Masters. So on the way of practice, then we need it because it's not for benefit the Dharma Masters. For example, we offering these flowers and many things to the Yidam deities. It does not mean Yidam deities are hungry, thirsty, and it's got a lots of problems. But it for accumulate merit ourselves. However, we try to become Yidam deities. That's why we are offering these things. We respect these things. We just hang up tanka and we do prostrating. We do prostrations. Yidam deities does not tell us you should do prostration to me. Even we just tankas put on the ground, we cross over on there. Tankas are already smelling. It's always remain there, or whatever. They never change. It means they have not ordinary consciousness. But we ourselves. We try to become Yidam deities, so we should purify these things. For example, a cup. I have a cup, and if I will not wash it, the cup doesn't say, if you will not wash me, I will not let you use. But we wash it. Without wash, what happened? It cannot make any wrong thing to the cup, but if we will not wash it, we will get sick. So that's why the Dharma Master, it does not mean we make special for the the Dharma Master does not say you should make me special. Dharma Masters does not say that. Especially Dharma Masters, their realizations increase, and they will become humble and more humble. So it means whether you offer or doing we do some good things, it doesn't matter. But if we insult them, really, if we insult Dharma masters, if we insult or look down Dharma masters and parents and our school teachers and lawfully friends, and then that makes more great negative karmas. Because we are so grateful for them. We are so grateful for them. Among them, who is great? Dharma masters, because only Dharma masters can lead us in the nirvana. However, they can make us Buddha. So they can make us Buddha means they can remove our suffering. But of course, they will not remove our suffering by their hand. They will not bring a broom to sweep over the dirt of sufferings. But they show us the method. So we already have spiritual wisdom, and they show us a method, and we utilize this method, and then we can purify. However, we can purify our self-suffering. Till now, we did not know. So sometimes we know, but we don't have a significant method. So Dharma masters tells us that. So we of course we should respect all other beings, and then especially the Dharma friends, more especially Dharma masters are very important. Actually, if we try to be mindful, to respect others, then we will become habituation. We become familiar on it, and that sometimes, of course, we are still in the samsara. So sometimes we cannot control our emotions, so forth, but very easily regret about that. So that means we should think, oh, they practice for a long time, but nothing changed, nothing fixed. This is the wrong view. Wrong view means misunderstanding. We see someone practice for a long time, and they will not make mistakes. But if sometimes they made some mistakes, and easily purify from their mind, purify these mistakes. So this is also, you carefully think, if two friends being together for year by year, sometimes everything possible. If we put many cups together, sometimes we move at different sound, come. So similarly, friends remain for a long time. Sometimes it's happened, even husband or wife, or boy or girlfriends, or Dharma friends, so forth. Sometimes a little bit occurs, but will not keep resigned mind. So this is the quality of our Dharma practice. However, we should think Dharma practice make great benefit ourselves. We should know that. Okay, then this concludes the third chapter concerning Dharma masters of this ornament of precious liberation, a wish-fulfilling gem of sublime Dharma. Okay, we accomplished third chapter. Shall we stop here? Just kidding. We will do continuation. We are not. Okay. Now this next chapter is the impermanence of conditioned existence. Okay. Buddha said, of all footprints, the elephant's footprint is outstanding. Just so, of all subjects of meditation for a follower of the Buddhas, the idea of impermanence is unsurpassed. Why did Buddha say that? Its meaning is as Geshe Potoba said, when a lay disciple asked him which dharma practice was the most important if one had to choose only one. The Geshe replied, if you want to use a single dharma practice, to meditate on impermanence is the most important. At first, meditation on death and impermanence makes you take up the dharma. In the middle, it conduces to positive practice. In the end, it helps you realize the sameness of all phenomena. So first you will have confidence that death is coming sooner or later. As Milarepa says, the Lord of Death is like the shadow of the sun. I have not seen anyone who can block it. When I read this, I remember I was very, very little, like a little bug. When I was in Tibet, I went with my sisters and the neighbors. They took care yaks, and then my mother says, "Don't go with them. It's long day." But they brought some food, yogurt and bread. But I say I need to go because I could not collect the yaks. But I said I didn't listen. My mom, I said I must go, and then then I went with them. But they move yaks very far away place. But that I don't like there because it's very empty place. No more play and anything there, just stay, because otherwise yaks go different places, and because so then I asked very often my sister, when will we go back at home? When will we go back? And then my sister told me that the other side of mountain there was a mountain rock. It's pretty big. Whenever this shadow comes there, then we were ready to go back at home. So I look at this, when watched often this shadow. So it's just I remember that. Anyhow, so Milarepa says, the Lord of Death is like a shadow of the sun. I have not seen anyone who can block it. It's very true. If you think this is not true, then you hold the sun. You hold the sun, and then we will win victories. And then Milarepa says, except Dharma, I have not seen any protectors. However, possesses the Dharma will be victorious. Death is not like a handful of dirt thrown into the air and disappearing into space. Death is like a dream where you leave your body in your bed and the mind travels to different places. and meets with fearful, scary things. Do you have any feeling when I say it? If no, why? You should learn about Bardo teaching. So then I say this, suddenly you can remember, oh, joined Bardo. These things appear. It's really skillful things. At that time, one has no protector, one has no friends, only oneself, even not the clothes. At that time, we try to call Buddha, Dharma, almost was too late. So now we can remove those apparent things. However, know what suffering occur for us in the daytime also occur at the time of death. So through meditating on impermanence, we gain confidence that there will be death, and after death, there will be suffering. So we should think, if we don't practice the dharma, now we will have much to fear. And also sometimes when we engage in worldly concerns, we still set aside time for dharma practice because we think, I am not sure when I will die, so I must spend time on dharma practice. And then finally, meditating on impermanence helps you realize the sameness of all phenomena, which means understanding interdependence. So through the realization of a subtle interdependence, we will be able to understand emptiness. For example, if there is a box which is made out of different bricks, but generally we fixate on it and we perceive it as permanent. We don't directly think, oh, this is permanent, but we see it that way. For example, yesterday's box is the same as today's box. All confusions come from this kind of perception. But how can we come to understand that the box is impermanent? That box is made out of different pieces of bricks. So they will come apart and go their separate ways. Then how can we come to understand that the box is interdependent? The bricks depend on each other in such a way that if you take one brick out the box is not longer complete. Then how can we come to understand the emptiness of the box? If we separate each of the bricks, then there is no longer a box. This is not real emptiness, but we should come to realize true emptiness through this way. Also, Gypsy Potowa said, at first, meditation on impermanence makes you cut your ties with the things of this life. In the middle, it conduces to your casting off all clinging to samsara. In the end, it helps you take up the path of nirvana. Padamba Sanjay also said, at first to be fully convinced of impermanence makes you take up the dharma. In the middle, it whips up your diligence, and in the end, it brings you to the radiant Dharmakaya. The Buddha said in the Vinaya, to remember for an instant the impermanence of all compounded things is greater than giving food and offerings to 100 of my disciples who are perfect vessels, like the bhikshus, Shariputara, and Mongalayana. Sometimes we call Mongalputara, yeah? The sutras and path instructions mention many benefits to meditation on impermanence. Actually, we all practice dharma, and here are many practitioners, and however much we ask, purify non-virtues, and how many times we are willing to purify those non-virtues. It is difficult to purify because we don't have very clear confidence on impermanence. If we have clear confidence on impermanence, it is not so hard to purify non-virtues, because we know death is coming. And if death comes, without the dharma, there is no other protector. So we spontaneously practice. And also, it seems there are many practitioners whose practices are all related to this life. Why could we not practice for the sake of enlightenment or the next life? This is also because we do not pay attention to impermanence. Impermanence is inseparable from our life. We know this through our physical bodies and our mind changing. However, there are many ways to meditate on the impermanence. First, there is the impermanence of the outer universe in which beings live. Many natural disasters and so forth occur. We call them natural disasters, but another name for them is impermanence. Second, there is the impermanence of the beings living in the universe. If we only focus on dharma friends, how many have passed away? What they did when they were alive and what we are doing now are no different. They practiced the dharma and also thought for this life. So they earned things, created things. What we are doing now is exactly the same. But they left us. It's okay, but they left their body. Before they died, before they were sick, if I said we will separate from our bodies sooner or later, maybe they wouldn't have a deep feeling. Same as now when I say this, maybe we don't have a deep feeling about this. Perhaps you will say, don't speak about unfortunate things. Say more about good luck things. But if we practice well, then if we should leave this body, it doesn't matter. If we have confidence of being reborn in the Pure Lands, if we are a good dharma practitioner, then if we get sick, it's no problem, because it purifies negative karmas. How it purifies negative karma is, for example, you exercise your body for maintaining your health. At that time, you will sweat and get tired, but the result is you will be healthy. Then there is the impermanence of holy beings. If we take, for example, Shakyamuni Buddha or Nalanda Masters and Telopatu Lord Jigten Sunggu, in reality, they do not die, but from our perspective, they go into parinirvana. So if we can't change this perception, then impermanence remains with that. There is also the impermanence of those in the positions of power. How many kings have there been in this world? How much did they conquer? How much did they conquer through their power? Right now, their names exist in the history books. And that's all. There are other examples of impermanence to meditate on it. If you close your eyes and imagine how many people die in each hospital, and their friends and relatives, will they cry or enjoy? Of course, they will cry. Here we have some understanding. If their consciousness does not travel somewhere, then these relatives or friends do not need to cry, because their body is still there. If they keep it and take care of it, then it would be fun. If their consciousness did not go, but tears come because their minds know that the consciousness has left them, and it travels alone to the uncertain place. Among animals and humans, when one of them dies, the feeling of sorrow ensues. The mind naturally knows that death is not enjoyable. There is also the uncertainty of the circumstance of death. If we just take cars or airplanes, how many people die when traveling in them? Actually, people do not buy them to kill themselves with. And then medicines, drinks, they all can be a cause of death. As Milarepa says, if one has interest in this life, one will not be able to notice the approach of death. But it is like a lightning bolt. So none of us have a guarantee that we will live in this world 100 years. Perhaps you think it's okay to die because we will not stay permanently in the other realms. And it's true, their lives are impermanent. But if you compare our year and their one day are equal lengths of time. So their lifespan is thousands of times longer. If they joyfully stayed there, all of those years it would be fine. But they are in sorrow. However, talking about this topic is not to scare us, but it is like a whip to the bottom of our horse of diligence, who should run down the dharma path. So if we arise this realization, then path instructions will not enter our right ear and go out our left ear. Especially, we will not fall under the deception of afflictive emotions. And this realization of impermanence will be the cause and the condition of enlightenment in this life. Like Milarepa's, we are Milarepa's disciples. If we cannot mimic him by staying in a solitary place, in mountain caves, we should still become enlightened in this life. He undertook great hardship, and we can utilize the fruit of his labor for enlightenment. So, if we practice dharma knowingly, even only the realization of impermanence greatly benefit. In psychologically, someone has problems, but apply more on impermanence. The sufferings come and go. The sufferings, problems, they will not remain there permanently. Because they are not permanent. There is no any single object which is permanent. So everything are impermanent. Everything are changing. But sometimes in the Dharma, especially this Kajupa tradition and Nyingma too, Dharmakaya is permanent. We give that name permanent. But right now, what we say, this permanent and the Dharmakaya is permanent, big different. There are big, different perception. The perception or the meaning are different. Dharmakaya, it does not mean permanent. But Dharmakaya means beyond impermanent and permanent. Permanent is we created by our perception. Perception itself illusory, illusion, deluded, and then it created things are same, not true things. So there are some particularly explain about permanent, but we don't want to talk about that. But right now we don't have that theory, or we don't have this, but we have this perception. As I mentioned this morning, this yesterday flower, we saw a flower, we cannot imagine that the part of changing. The yesterday flower and today's flower different. Yesterday person and today's are different. So, for example, we have a big misperception, that conception or perception. If they're following river, you cross left to right and you go somewhere and you come back, you cross back that river, you thought that is same river. But first you cross that river already gone somewhere. So similarly, I thought, oh, this is the yesterday's table, this is the yesterday's my laptop, this is the yesterday's. Just I thought that, but in the reality, they all gone. So when we meditate on impermanent, if we should real, authentic meditator on impermanent, we focus more on time. It will helps a lot. And then tolerance, patience, they also come from there. For example, one person say some harsh word, And then if I think, oh, his mind right now he is on his emotion, he or she is in the emotion, so it sooner or later it will disappear. So now I will keep quiet. See? And let's do this 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. Slowly that person will say, you are a very good person. See? Good person should be through this way. Otherwise, we cannot make a good person particular, Of course, we can. We have human intelligence. So that's why we explain how to be a good person. Come on the karma cause, path of karma cause and effect. That's number 1. And understand for others. For example, you stay in the dharma centers. That I told to my dharma friends, some who came to the retreat a couple of years ago. Now you are in the retreat center. You are doing retreat. The best things, of course, you should gain special realizations. You should have to see Yadam deities. Of course, that are the main goals. But if you did not experience like that, you try to promote tolerance, patience, and understanding. And then you go back at your home, and your siblings, parents, relatives, they say, oh, please let you go back again for the retreat, dharma centers, and I will pay for it. I will buy air ticket and so forth. They will say it. So then you will become cause of peaceful harmony in your family or your organization. Otherwise, you stay in the dharma centers doing retreat, but nothing change, any single actions, and you go back at your home, you become more stranger or different things, and then your siblings and parents, they say, oh, don't go to the dharma center. Really? So it's very much how to do. And there's I don't know how to say in English. Kache Ningtam. There was a special talk for kind of advice for the public. In this Tibetan book, it's many verse. It's very easy to understand that part. So it says, if you know how to take care of even mundane activities, then sometimes you are much better than Dharma practitioners. Some Dharma practitioners, I mean. So that's where we really have to fix our habits, behavior, and think more others. If suddenly we cannot share our food or our clothes or our money and so to the others, it's okay. But the understanding should be grow understanding. It has no different ages and so forth. So, however, we try to be good people. Good people. That's extremely important. It is medicine, especially nowadays. Then it has mutual benefit. So then this meditate on impermanence. See, it's also great. Actually, it's mentioned through this book is very clearly, vividly. So especially it's reduce attachment. Attachment, it does not mean only attachment between male and female. Yeah? Lots of problems occur from attachment. Attachment is a very gentle emotion, but dangerous emotion. Attachment as a friend, it's a more dangerous emotion. What is that? Jealousy. Attachment, when our mind, attachment arises from our mind, we ourselves, for example, attachment arises in my mind, I understand. But you guys may not understand if I don't display this, if I don't act frankly. Maybe you don't know, but I know it. So it can later still try to apply some antidote. But jealousy, you don't know, I don't know. But jealousy comes. But what does it do? This is only motivation to destroy others' good things. So jealousy is friend of attachment. And it is also friends of angry emotion. So, however, the attachment, we try to reduce attachment with many things. How to reduce attachment? We suddenly cannot say, oh, I don't need it. I don't need this laptop. I don't need this book. I don't need these clothes. We cannot say, but we should be happy with them. Oh, I have a laptop. This is not so expensive, pretty old, but I like it. It's useful, helpful. See? And same like clothes and so forth. And we promote, in psychologically, we promote kind of this way of thinking, and then jealousy will not occur often, because we reduce the power of attachment, so then attachment cannot support to jealousy. How jealousy arises? Oh, someone has a very good this thing, that thing, so I need it. And I could not have that. Actually, I need it. I could not have it, so I'm going to destroy this. So this is combined with jealousy. And then greed. When we have attachment, strong attachment, we have strong greedy. So cannot dedicate anything, cannot practice generosity. Even sometimes we are greed on the merit, dharma practice. Or if I dedicate my dharma practice, then my merits will reduce. See, there are big misunderstanding. In the reality, what is the dedication? Meaning of dedication. Dedication makes your merit like mountains, like oceans, boundless space. How does it make? Your merits are just a small river which comes from mountainside. But dedicate, don't let it separate on the trees or some between there, and then don't let it dry up there. Merit, what does merit help? These river like go to the ocean, okay? In the ocean. If that river goes to in the ocean, then this river and ocean mixed. However, it will become inseparable. So until this the ocean remains there, that river will remain there. Each and every single fish get that river. And then from this river, blue, like a foggy or some liquid, sorry, I don't have a word, come up, and then it will become clouds. And from clouds getting rain, and then it's help more trees, 100,000 trees, 100,000 plants. So we say we should dedicate. It means we don't try to finish our merit. We try to increase, however, unlimited our merit. Then it helps life to life. Even when we become Buddha, for example, we become Dharmakaya, and then we can radiate Sambhogakaya, we can radiate Nirmanakaya. What is the Dharmakaya actually? Dharmakaya means we meditate. So right now our thoughts are like bees. It's busy as bees. Bees, yeah? They 24/7 is that move our thoughts. But then Dharmakaya means we reduce these thoughts, purify these thoughts. When we reduce these thoughts and purify these thoughts, and then what will happen is it will become like a space in the morning. In the sky, blue sky. And there were no clouds, for example. No clouds, no sun, no moon. It's very pure, clear. If you learn in Bardo, it's mentioned very clearly about that. So if you recognize that, then you are completely at ease there. But it is not like a nighttime sky or space. That's where, and this is morning space, morning times space or sky. That's where it is not foggy. It is clear. But in the morning times, in the daytimes, we see something, we heard something. So sometimes the sun is hot. We see sometimes too much rain. Sometimes no rain. We have lots. But in the early morning, before sun comes, before without moon, without cloud, it's completely, how to say, clear, pure, relaxed. And then the Dharmakaya means our mind will become like that. Naturally, our mind is that. Naturally, all of things are emptiness. The first, let me say, all of things are empty space. That makes sense. Our bodies, our material things, even Mother Earth. Right now, Mother Earth combined with the 5 elements. Yeah? And then in the future, one time it will become empty space. Because it will exhaust empty space. But then that empty space is not just empty. This empty space is non-duality. So, however, the like a morning space, it's completely, there's no any different things, but pure, clear. So from there, then slowly sun comes. Then clouds comes. Sun comes. It also helps to the trees and all beings who have eyes. Who have to work through their eyes, it helps. Like a Sambhogakaya means like that. And then clouds come, rain, and it benefits all the plants. This is Nirmanakaya's activities. So that's where these all good things, fundamentally we have these good things. We have that good things, and then if fundamentally we don't have that, then we try to make new things, is quite hard. But then our responsibility is only purify some temporary obscurations. That's all. So this is pretty easy to purify. We should have confidence. Okay. So now the number page. If you have this book, your ornament, page number 40, kind of 40. Okay, 47. Fourth, the impermanence of conditioned existence. We have the cause, Buddha nature. Furthermore, because samsara has existed since time without a beginning, at some point we must already have had the base, a precious human existence, through which we made the condition, the Dharma master. What prevented us from becoming Buddhas then? It was the harmful mistake of falling under the sway of 4 blockages that stopped us and those like us from attaining Buddhahood. The 4 impediments that have prevented the attainment of Buddhahood are: 1. Attachment to the experience of this life. 2. Attachment to worldly well-being in general. 3rd, attachment to the well-being of peace. And 4th, ignorance of the means by which Buddhahood is achieved. What can eliminate these 4 impediments? They are eliminated by heeding the instruction of Dharma masters and by putting those instructions into practice. What does those masters' advice consists of? Here is the synopsis. I memorized this root text. So if you memorize this, it's helpful. I will read this. All the Dharma Master's instruction can be condensed into 4 topics: meditation on impermanence, meditation on samsara's faults and on actions and their consequences, meditation on love and compassion, and the teachings concerning the cultivation of bodhicitta. Okay. This means that the Dharma Master's instruction comprises advice on: 1. How to meditate on impermanence. 2nd, how to meditate on the defects of samsara and on actions and their consequences. 3rd, how to cultivate love and compassion. And 4, how to cultivate bodhicitta. These act as remedies as follows. Meditation on impermanence counteracts attachment to the experiences of this life. Meditation on the defects of samsara counteracts attachment to worldly well-being in general. The meditations on love and compassion counteracts attachment to the well-being of meditative peace. The teachings on cultivating highest enlightenment counteract ignorance of how to attain Buddhahood. These cover all teachings, from taking refuge up to the meaning of the two types of absence of self-entirety, or from the five-path feasts and the 10 Bodhisattva levels down through all the teachings on bodhicitta. Some of these topics from the base for bodhicitta, some are its objective, some are the rituals connected with bodhicitta development. Some are adverse, pertinent to bodhicitta. Some concern its qualities and benefits, and some present its results. There is no Mahayana topic that is not included in the bodhicitta teachings. Hence, all those forms of instruction stem from the Dharma Master. They depend on the Dharma Master. Therefore, the marvelous Arya Sutara says, the Dharma Master is the very source of all the teachings of virtue, and omniscience depends on the instruction given by Dharma Masters. Meditation on impermanence. Of these, I first present impermanence, which is the remedy that counteracts attachment to the experiences of this life. Sometimes I recite with mispronunciation, so I think it's good for you. It's make you wake up, yeah. In general, every composite thing is impermanent. Therefore, the Buddha taught, "O monks, all composites are impermanent." How exactly are they impermanent? What is accumulated will eventually, dwindle. What is built up will eventually disintegrate. What comes together will eventually part. And what lives will eventually die, quoting the collection of aphorisms. The end of all accumulation is dispersal. The end of construction is disintegration. The end of meeting is parting, and the end of life is death. How to meditate on this is explained through these synapses. Meditation on impermanence is well summarized in 3 topics. Its categories is the meditation techniques. Techniques. Thank you. And the being and benefits of having meditated on it. First, the categories are 2: the impermanence of the world and the impermanence of sentient beings. The first of these, the impermanence of the world, the auto vessel, has 2 subcategories: gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. The second, the impermanence of sentient beings, the inner essence, also has 2 subcategories: the impermanence of others and the impermanence of oneself. Second, the techniques For meditating on these will be discussed in two parts, that of the world and that of its beings. For the world, first we consider its overall impermanence. There exists nothing from the wind mandala below as its base up to the four levels of meditative concentration of the form realm, also that will not change, that is permanent by its very nature, or that has lasting materiality. At times, everything below the first level of concentration is destroyed by fire. At times, everything below the second level of concentration is destroyed by water. At times, everything below the third level of concentration is destroyed by wind. As these things occur when there is destruction by fire, not even ashes are left. Just as when oil is consumed by flame, when there is destruction by water, there is not even sediment left. Just as when salt is dissolved by water, when there is destruction by wind, nothing remains, just as when powder is blowing away. Therefore, the treasure of higher knowledge says, there will be 7 destructions by fire, followed each by water, thus after 7 by water. There will be 7 by fire, finally there will be destruction by wind. Actually, I don't want to more explain when I read this part. I already briefly mentioned my own suggestion or about this, and but when you read this, when I read, you just focus on there, and we say 6 realms. So Gao's realm has also different layers. The 6 realms kind of, for example, these if these 6 realms are a country, then the countries has embassies in different other countries. Similarly, in this human realm, in our realm, these 6 realms not completely exist, but kind of their embassy remains here. Do you understand what I try to say? So we have fire problem, water problem, and then wind problem, so forth. So these are this is, it's like a warning. Hey guys, be careful. Now I show you your another home or realm has a kind of this much dangerous things. Now you are ready to practice dharma, and it's better to go to Pure Land, better to become enlightened. So they naturally they communicated us, and then okay, the fourth level of concentration will not be destroyed by fire. So what I try to say here is the concentration. Actually, concentration is a part of mind, but it mentioned beings right now, because the beings don't have this form. They have only consciousness, but they have for example, in the formless realm, they have a very subtle form. Subtle form is, it does not mean very small. It means their body is almost like a light, like a sunlight. Then they have consciousness, but we are different. The fourth level of concentration will not be destroyed. That's why we call the concentration will not be destroyed by fire, water, or air. The beings in that state are subject to death and transmigration, and therefore it ends automatically at their death. Thus it says, the celestial abodes of the impermanent arise and disintegrate along with the conscious beings that inhabit them. Also, the destruction of this universe by fire at a certain point, as foretold in the cushions of the layman Viradatta Sutara. After one eon, this world, the nature of which is space will become space. Even the mountains will burn away totally and be destroyed. The subtle impermanence of the environment is that of the floods of the four seasons, the rising and setting of the sun and the moon, and a moment-to-moment change. Let us consider the first of these. Due to the powerful influence of the coming of spring over environment, the world changes as follows. The land becomes soft and ruddy in color. And the trees, grasses, and plants bud. However, this is but the manifestation of a transitory period. Due to the powerful influence of the coming of summer, the land becomes predominantly deep green, and leaves and branches grow on the trees, grasses, and plants. This too is but the manifestation of transitory period. Due to the powerful influence of the coming of autumn, the land then hardens and is predominantly golden. Its trees, grasses, and plants bear fruit. This too is but the manifestation of a transitory period. Due to the powerful influence of the coming of winter, the land becomes frozen and wettish, and the trees, grasses, and plants are dried up and brittle. This too is but the manifestation of transitory period. Now let us consider impermanence is terms of the rising and setting of the sun and moon. The power of day breaking makes our environment, the world, become light and bright. The power of night falling makes it disappear into darkness. These are also signs of impermanence. Finally, let us consider impermanence in terms of moment by moment change. Our environment, the world of one small instant of time, does not persist into the next instant of time. It gives the impression of remaining the same, yet in fact something similar has taken its place, as exemplified by cascading water. The second technique of meditation contemplates the impermanence of the inner essence. Sentient beings, first considering the impermanence of others and then one's shown impermanence. The impermanence of others, all conscious beings in the three realms are impermanent. It says in the vast Manifestation Sutara, the three realms are impermanent like autumn clouds. One's own impermanence is based on understanding that I also have to power to remain in this life and must go on to another. The way to understand this is twofold. One, by examining your own existence, and two, by applying to yourself what is observed of others' existence. The way to meditate on the first of these is as follows. Meditate on death, on the specific characteristics of death, on the exhaustion of life, and on separation. Meditation on death is to contemplate. I will not stay long in this world and will soon be moved into the next. So the way of 37 Bodhisattva, it also mentioned, our body is like a guest house and our consciousness is like a guest. Meditation on the specific characteristics of death involves contemplating the thought. This life force of mine will be used up. Respiration will stop, and this body will take on the appearance of a corpse. While this mind will be obliged to wander off to another life. Meditation on the exhaustion of this life is to contemplate. Since a year ago, a year has passed, and now my life is precisely that much shorter. Since a month ago, a month has passed, and now my life is precisely that much shorter from yesterday until today. A day has gone by, and now my life is precisely that much shorter. A moment has just gone by, and my life is precisely that much shorter. Yeah, meditate through this way, and then generally you think, oh, meditation means focus. Don't think. Don't do these more things. Many practitioners think like that. So meditation has different levels, but you should meditate on there single pointedly. Single pointedly, it does not mean mm, uh, nothing any contemplate. But when you contemplate on this, at that moment you don't think other kind of lifestyles, and so that means single pointedly meditate, and then it will help. It says in Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life, without ever stopping for even a day or night, this life is constantly on the wane. Because that is left, diminishes and disappears. How could the likes of me not die? Meditation on separation is to contemplate the friends and relatives, wealth and possessions, body and so forth that I have at present and that I value so much will not always be able to accompany me. Soon will we be parted. As it says in Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life, by not knowing that I would have to leave everything behind and depart. Alternatively, one could engage in ninefold way of meditating on death. The ninefold technique is centered on three main contemplations. I will certainly die. The time of death is indefinite. And when I die, nothing whatsoever can accompany me. There are three reasons. It is certain one will die. One, no one previously has escaped death. The body is a composed phenomenon. 3. Life is consumed from moment to moment. Yeah, it says no one previously has escaped death. Nagarjuna, then one is younger cousin and would like to become king, and then he waiting for become king. He was waiting for become king, but Nagarjuna he had special city from longevity, but eventually that maybe you heard that story. Eventually, the one grass cut his neck, and then he passed away. So that means karma never betray us. Karma caused the effect. Other weapons could not destroy to him. So like that. Then, however, our living beings sooner or later will change or however the death comes sooner or later, and as I mentioned, Okay, let me say this. Impermanent. In the relative truth, impermanent is nature. We should understand it. And then especially we should practice. So today I read this. I was reading quickly, yeah? But you read this very slowly and record, and then you listen that again with single pointedly. You listen it single pointedly, and then you it arise feelings. And in the ancient masters, they all practiced on there, and then they become great practitioners. So 4 thoughts are extremely important practice to become great practitioners. Buddha first he practiced on it, and all the masters practiced on it. So people who practiced well on the 4 thoughts, and then they become great practitioners. Okay, then one, it is certain I will die because there was no one in the past who did not die. The great master Asavangosha said, if ever you see or hear about someone on earth or in the upper realms who is considered immortal, doubt it. Therefore, even seers of truth, seers means rishis, cannot find a place to go to escape death and encounter immortality. They will all die, not to mention that likes of us. It is said, even the greater rishis, endowed with the 5 steps of clear cognition, who travel far through space, would be unable to travel to some place where they can enjoy immortality. Best these even realize beings such as practical Buddha or Sharavikas, arhats, had to leave their bodies in the end. What then for the likes of us? Therefore, it says in the collection of aphorisms, when even the practical Buddhas and the Sharavikas, disciples of the Buddhas, have to quiet their bodies, what need is there to speak of ordinary beings? Time is impermanent. So, more contemplate on there. And then today we stop here. And now we should dedicate our merit from the 3 times in 10 directions Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, all the our Dharma brothers and sisters, all the merit bring together, and we dedicate it into the ocean of merit, and then that merit benefit all mother sentient beings. Chanchu Semcho Rinpoche Ma Che Ba Nam Je Jur Je Ba Nyam Ba Me Ba Yang Gong Ne Gong De Pe Wa Shu.
May bodhicitta, the precious and supreme mind, arise in whom it has not yet arisen. Where it has arisen, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher.
Thank you so very much, and have a wonderful time, and may all you become Dharmakaya.